And you got asked to potentially fill in for some
I
shows
did.
or sing in ACDC?
I auditioned for
Axl Rose's job, or before
well, yeah,
that
he pipped me at the gate. Yeah,
it came down to Nick and Axl.
Yeah, that was wild, right? I remember calling you about it at the time because you were filling in.
I was filling in for Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
It was another Gudinski favour. He called me up and was like, "Mark, I need you to do me a favour. I need you to go on tour with Bryan Adams. His bass player's just quit." And I was like, again, you don't say no because one day you'll be in prison in Czech Republic and you'll get one phone call and Michael's the guy you would want to
when someone's misplaced your passport.
Yeah, exactly. So at the same time, Nick was in Atlanta in a rehearsal studio with.
I spent 2 days
ACDC.
as the singer officially.
I thought
unofficially.
you'd be a perfect fit for that. Can you how did it kind of happen from start to finish?
I just, I've been living overseas for a long time, and I came back to visit my family, and I was staying with my in-laws, and I got up in the morning and read the paper, and it was saying that the singer was not in the band anymore, Bryan Johnson. And I remember saying to my father-in-law, I was like, holy shit, like you would not want to step into those shoes. And literally 20 minutes later, the phone rang. They're saying, would you be interested in going to Atlanta, Georgia to audition to potentially fill in for this next run of dates they've got? And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I thought, I think I'll say yes just for the life experience. I wasn't really expecting to get the gig, to be honest with you, but I just thought, how could I turn this opportunity down?
Was that before or after you'd done Back in Black with Muse?
After,
yeah, because I feel like that may have because
they did come up and they said that they'd seen that. It was like and I called Matt and I said, hey, thanks for that, by the way. But
What was it like when you got there? Was it just the big kind of rehearsal?
It was pretty weird because they just stopped where the tour had stopped, and it would happen to be Atlanta, Georgia, and they were in. It was actually the Black Keys rehearsal studio. Black Crows, sorry, yeah. Black Crows, and it was a tiny place, but they were set up there with their enormous backline, and I remember watching ACDC, thinking, "There's no way all of those amps are on." Let me tell you, they were all fucking on.
Whoa.
And it was the loudest thing I'd ever heard in my entire life.
Oh my God, man.
And he put me through my paces, and I realized now that
who was driving it? Who was running?
Angus was.
Angus.
And he was like, everything was a test to see how I would, handle it, like the volume. And he was just going, all right, let's do this song. And I didn't know, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So he just go over there and learn it. And that whole band waiting there for 10 minutes. But I'm just going, oh, fuck.
That is daunting. That is so scary.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. But
there's not many people in this world who've got to sing with ACDC though. So there's only probably 4 people.
And so it was great. And they were lovely, like they were, it was pretty intense. And I just landed in Australia, so I was already jet lagged. Then I've flown to Atlanta the day after, and there was one day where I didn't even sleep for 48 hours. But again, I realize now he's a super professional guy, and he wanted to push me to my absolute limit to see how I would react, I think.
I feel like the Bond stuff would be absolutely in your wheelhouse.
Well, he asked me, they said,
too.
what do you want to do? And I smashed out a couple of Bonds.
Because, the Bryan stuff's a different voice to you.
Yeah, it's
the
really
Bond
hard,
stuff
actually.
Is like in your total wheelhouse. But
And I've since found out, because I was like, how? Because I remember trying to practice on that stuff, going, how is he doing this? Because it's a very unusual way of singing.
Yeah.
And then someone told me, he goes, because you're making the mistake of thinking he's pushing out enormous amount of volume, which is how I sing, but he's not. He's whispering. He's whispering, but with like directly into a microphone with this enormous volume behind him. So it sounds like the loudest thing in the world, but it's not at all. He's barely pushing out.
Yeah, because you couldn't do that. Bryan Johnson couldn't sing like that every night of the week anyway. You'd have to figure out a technique where you're not.
So is that how Axl does it, do you reckon?
I mean, I didn't see that, and I didn't know, because it was all very,
it was all NDAs and stuff.
Someone made the mistake of some tour manager accidentally, because there was some of them were there. Like Axl was there at the same time, and someone accidentally left his name on a.
Who else was trying out? Do you know?
There was a couple of guys there's some guys from ACDC cover bands, like the best cover bands in the world.
That makes sense. Yeah. Jeez, what a moment it would have been for them. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's good you got to do it. I'm glad you got
2 days.
That's so funny. You're doing ACDC, you're doing Bryan Adams.
I can tell you which one is cooler.
For all the latest rock news, interviews, and backstage experiences, don't forget to subscribe to Triple M Rock on the Listener app.
Oh, hey, you just watched another Triple M homegrown highlight. So if you're not subscribed already, click on the buttons all around wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you're listening. And that way, when we get all the bands in, you're going to be the first to see the chats. You'll see them even before the bands. So don't miss a moment. Get our latest videos. Keep up to date with Triple M's Homegrown and keep up to date with whatever's happening on Triple M.